Now in Roseville, voters are casting their ballots in Roseville's House District 40B race. There's less than 3 hours there until polls close. This special election decides control of the Minnesota House for the next 2 years. Danny Spiewak's live from a polling place with more on the implications of this race. Danny?
Well, this is the race we've been talking about for weeks. If the DFL wins, the House goes back to a 67-67 tie, and there's a power sharing agreement in the chamber that would then take effect. If the Republicans win, they would grow their majority with a 68th member, which would actually give them ability to pass legislation off the House floor. Voters here in Roseville said that the publicity around this case drove them to the polls today. There's never been an election in Minnesota quite like this one.
How many times has this happened?
Barry Brayer didn't miss the chance to vote Tuesday in House District 40B. The race between DFL candidate David Gottfried and Republican candidate Paul Wickstrom will determine control of the House through 2026.
I know my vote really matters, and I know that there's consequences to the whole state.
After a judge disqualified DFL candidate Curtis Johnson from taking office in District 40B, Republicans have held a temporary 67-66 majority so far this session. With control of all committees, Republicans have used their majority to advance priority legislation to the floor for votes. But with 68 votes needed to actually approve legislation,
the bill does not pass.
GOP efforts to ban transgender athletes from girls' sports, repeal the duty to retreat law, and expand reports to lawmakers about fraud have all failed when the DFL united in opposition.
There's no reason not to be bipartisan all the time.
If DFL leader Melissa Hortman's party wins Tuesday's special election in a heavily blue district, the power sharing agreement will give Democrats equal membership on all committees but one, meaning they'd have a say in which bills come up for a vote.
My hope would be that we don't spend this last week before we have the tie back engaged in meaningless partisan gotcha votes, that we start to build the foundation of working together.
No matter who wins Tuesday's election, Republican Lisa Demuth will remain the Speaker of the House under any power sharing agreement.
We will either be in a true majority if Paul Wickstrom wins, or we will be returned to a tie in which we already have an organizational agreement that would support that.
So the polls here in Roseville and Shoreview close at 8 o'clock tonight, but just keep in mind that the changes in the House won't happen overnight, no matter who wins the election tonight, because it's going to take likely until early next week for the winning candidate to be seated, for the election to be certified. So it'll be status quo in the House with that temporary Republican majority, at least for the next week, and then any changes would take effect next week. Back to you.
Big implications. Danny, thank you.